Welcome everybody to our AMA BrightID, regularly scheduled Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Today is Thursday, October 20th. Good to have you here. So what do we want to talk about today? I think it's important to mention that Aura had a bunch of updates since we last spoke, and it is now giving answers, as we like to say. So I thought maybe I could give a tour through Aura as a start, and then we can just talk about anything that we want to answer questions. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's share the right screen. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so let's look at Aura. Let's look at, I wonder if I can share like part of my screen. That would be ideal, because I would prefer not to share the bar on top because it shows people's like BrightID. So let me see if I can.
Oh, interesting, right?
Yeah, let me see if I can, because otherwise I'll end up showing a few different BrightIDs during this, which I don't exactly love. Advanced. No. Oh, maybe what I can do is hide this. Sorry about that. Let me customize my toolbar.
Yes, can't you go into like a full screen view on a browser window that kicks the address bar?
Full screen. That's a good option. Yeah, I think I can navigate this in full screen mode. So let me try that. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know how to do full screen on Mac.
I don't know how to do anything on Mac.
Let's see. Command Shift F. Everything has command in it. That's great. Okay, Command Shift F. So let's try that. Okay, it still shows the bar. Okay, how do I get rid of the bar? Customize toolbar. Never show. Did I get rid of it? Nope. It's still. That didn't work. Okay. I wish I could just like put up a blur. I wish I had After Effects, or I could like, I don't know. Let's see. I wish I could just like shove this so that it's, oh man. Yeah, I don't want to out people on BrightID. This is annoying.
So Adam, on PC, F11 does it.
Yeah, no, I know how to make it full screen, but it still shows the bar that I'm trying to get rid of.
What browser are you using?
Full screen. Firefox. Do you want to show a demo? Do you have a browser that doesn't do that?
I think if I just press F11, yeah, it goes away.
Okay, cool. Let's have you demo it. That way we won't reveal anybody's.
How do I get out of it?
We won't reveal anybody's BrightIDs because that's like, yeah.
But now I feel foolish because I pressed the button and now my whole screen is just Aura and I can't see anything else, including the zoom controls. Okay, F11 again to do that. Here we go. All right.
Okay, so, go ahead and share and and give us a tour of Aura.
All right, let's see here. All right, share screen. It said host disabled, participant screen sharing.
Oh, you're not a co-host. There, now you are. Now you should.
Share screen. This one. Share. All right, and then
I see your address.
Yeah, I know. Now it's in full screen. Now you don't, right?
Now I don't.
Okay, good. Okay, so oh man, but I can't. Except now I can't access the three dots. They're blocked by the stupid zoom controls.
Oh, move the zoom control. You can move the zoom control.
Oh, it just moves. Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I run into that too a lot.
It was like it was right over the top. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So when the idea in Aura, Aura is a game for players that want to label the BrightID graph and help hunt for Sybils. We expect that this is a game to be played by a minority of people that would use BrightID. This is made for the people that want to deal with it and not the people that just want to get verified. If you just want to get verified, your job is to find an Aura player to rate you. That's it. You don't need to download Aura. You don't need to take any actions in Aura. This is just, Bitsika made a great point of it. He said, it's kind of like a notary republic. You just need to go find a notary republic. They're allowed to sign and stamp your form, and then your form is valid.
Yeah.
This is sort of the same idea here.
Yeah, the difference between Notary Public and Aura Player is like Notary Public, you have to go through certification and there's like a centralized authority. And with Aura, it's just like, you can just start playing. Anyone can start playing. The energy gets sent around in a much more decentralized way. We'll talk about what energy means.
It's like a Notary Republic where if you are one, you get to make other ones.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
But if the ones that you make don't abide by the appropriate rules, they can lose their status, and you could lose yours too because you did a bad job of using your authority to give them authority.
Right.
So here it comes in. This would list all of my BrightID connections, and if I click here, I could see all my unrated connections, and I could see, hey, I only want to see people that I already know, and here's a bunch of people. Like here, look, here's Juan Carlos, and he's got bronze. I made that connection a long time ago. I have no idea who this dude is. Apparently over a year ago, I connected him. And I can look down and see what other people said about Juan Carlos. And he's got a whole slew of just met connections. Oh, he's got a recovery connection from, again, someone I don't know. I must have met them at a
it looks like Griff. You can tell from that Griff is part of the reason he's getting bronze, right? Because Griff is giving him 2.
Interesting, yeah. So Griff is giving him 2, yet it's a just met connection. That's a little bit of a weird thing.
Yeah, that's a little bit strange. So we might want to check in with Griff and
okay, but this is
like,
strong.
hey, what's your strategy, man?
Mono is giving him a 4. So that's a really good sign. So Mono, who I trust a lot because I gave him a 3. The system believes a lot because he's got gold, already knows him and his recovery. That's great. And
maybe that's influencing Griff. Maybe Griff saw that and is like, oh well, if Mono gives him a 4, this guy must be legit because I really trust Mono. So maybe that had something to do with maybe he's playing on like a meta level.
So here, I don't need to take any action. I don't know this guy well enough that I want to opine. He doesn't need me. He's already bronze. You know, if he came to me and talked to me, maybe I'd be willing to consider rating him as well. But as of now, there's no need for me to do that. I also could have looked into someone else. So like, you know, here's Mono. Mono's a guy I know really well. I've got him rated with a lot of honesty, and later I'm giving him energy because I think he'll play this game. His list is going to be a mess because he has so many just met connections. This is the problem with stars that we're going to fix when we put it.
Yeah, you can filter that. There's a filter button, right? Oh, but not on the mutual.
It's not there yet.
Oh, okay. It's in other places, but not mutual.
It's a pen thing. So
yes,
so this is how you rate people. And there's a variety of ways to decide how much of this honesty you're going to give to someone. But the idea is that the more honesty you're giving them, the harder you're sort of putting your finger on the scale. So you know, 3 is more than 2, is more than 1. And then you could also go into the bad. So if you thought they were a bad actor, you can put it. Worth noting, negative rates have more impact than positive ones. Right now it's set to a 4x multiple. That could be changed if we don't feel that that's the right one. And also the amount of energy, and we'll get deeper into that, you have determines also how hard you push on the scale. So a 2 is more than a 1 relatively, but if a low energy user gives someone a rating, that doesn't have nearly as much impact as a really high energy rater, energy player like me does it. So I've got more authority in the system, but only because the other players have given it to me.
Exactly.
And we'll go further into energy in just a minute. Adam, you want to see other things about the honesty rating in this part?
Yeah, so I just want to say that this is so we've seen people are getting it already without, like we said, you don't have to be an Aura player to get this. You just have to be connected to an Aura player on BrightID. This is so it's very simple to get, but it's already better than anything that we've ever used in the past. So like getting a bronze rating in Aura is a much stronger signal that someone's not a Sybil attacker than a meets verification. And then there's silver and gold above that. So, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but there's going to be some really, this is going to be really useful to applications to start using Aura. It's that verification is ready for applications to use. I mean, the Aura graph is still growing, but it's already better than other stuff.
I'll also point out that so the gold, the bronze, silver, gold, is a mathematically determined formulaic thing based on the parameters that we set up for the game. Those parameters will continue to adapt over time as we learn more and the graph grows and we figure out what the formulas should be. But from an application standpoint, they just said, hey, we're going to use bronze. They don't ever have to touch that again because we're going to adapt the definition of bronze so that it's always appropriate, so that we have, it's got the right amount of ease to get it and confidence in it. So the application can just sort of set it and forget what they want for the hurdle, and we'll make sure that as things change, that hurdle is appropriate for the outcome that our applications are looking for. And I think that's really powerful because in the past we were like, oh well, you should use meets, and then you should use B2, and then you should use Aura. Like the idea with Aura, you don't have to change. You can make one choice and stick with it. And as we get smarter, we'll tweak the parameters.
May I chime in for a second?
Please.
Sure.
Philip, you answered most of my questions. I love the interface of Aura, and the first question was, from what I understand, Aura fine-tunes BrightID. It's not meant to replace it, correct?
Correct.
So if I connect with you, you're going to see all of my connections and the rate I've given to my connections, right?
Mutual connection. So that's important because BrightID, one of the philosophies of BrightID is that you shouldn't share anything with anyone that they don't already know to be able to get verified. That's like in stark contrast to getting a passport or something where you go meet with the government agent and you've got to like bring this whole folder full of information about yourself and give it to a stranger. BrightID is much different. It's like you don't like you connect with Philip and then you say how well you know him and he says how well he knows you, and then he's going to do his Aura research based on what he already knows about you. He's not going to like ask for a file on you or something like that to do his research. It's just gonna be what he already knows about you.
A file per se, I understand that he won't, but I mean, as soon as we connect, does each one of us sees the other person's connections? I mean, I only have what's his name? Victor.
Right, so he'll see Victor because he also knows Victor. But if you connected to, let's say, your wife and he's never connected to your wife, then he's not going to see that.
Okay.
I'll clarify one thing. So right now it only shows mutual connections. I expect in the future you'll also be able to actually see like the public BrightID data, even if you're not connected to that person, but you wouldn't see a name or photo because you don't know those things, but they are available on the public BrightID graph. So you could see that this unknown user,
this anonymous dot interact with this other account that you do know.
they trust.
Yeah.
So I do expect that we will have that feature, but you won't. The only reason I can see these names and photos is because I personally have them. Right, and it's also funny. So let's say, let's say blockchain Bob C. The last time I connected him, that was his picture and that was his name. But maybe when Mono connected to him, his name was Greg and it was a picture of a cat. So Mono thinks of it as Greg with a picture of a cat. I think of it as blockchain Bob C because that's what he told me. And so Mono and I don't even need to like see the same thing because these are, it's like your true self. It's not a persona. You can.
Okay, got it. Got it. By the way,
when people worry about like their photo and name in BrightID, I sort of laugh. I'm like, you can use anything you want, and you don't have to be consistent with who you use it with.
However, when I'm going to do aura ratings, like I go through, if I see a cat and like some random string of letters and numbers that don't make any sense to me, I'm probably going to skip over that person. So if you did that and that's how you connected to me and you want to get verified in Aura and I'm the Aura player that you know, you'll probably need to like poke me and be like, hey, let's make another connection or what like get my attention because so that it's like for the benefit of the person you're connecting to, what you set your name and photo to.
In many places, I've gone from using my face profile picture to using an NFT thing that I like. I use it in many places. I haven't used it in BrightID, but I've certainly considered it. And it's specific to me. Adam's seen it all over the place. So seeing that little squiggle, that does a fine job of representing me. People that know me know that I use that regularly. It's just as identifiable as my face to people that actually know me.
Right.
Yeah, and Aura actually makes it so. Let's say that there was an imposter. So let's say that like another Philip came in, used the same name, used the same picture, and maybe connected to me. Let's say that someone made a connection to me using that. Well, first of all, that I would know right when I made the connection. But
that's funny. Why are you a new user?
Yeah, I mean, I would know right when I made that connection. Like if I was in a group setting and I saw that come up, I'd be like, wait a minute, is that you? Like, why are you impersonating Philip? Okay, so that's not going to happen. But I was going to say, like, you can tell, but let's say Philip was in on that. Let's say Philip was trying to Sybil attack and he created a second one. Now he might be able to trick me somehow with his second one, but I would be able to see both. And then I could look at that list of mutual connections and I could see like, wait a minute, and actually this happened. I won't name names, but this happened to me recently where someone I know pretty well, I saw them in there. I'm like, wait a minute, there's two of this person in there because I connected to this person twice. And I looked through it and I could see by the difference. I'm like, okay, well, obviously this is a new account. Oh, and I looked a little deeper in the old account. I'm like, oh, they didn't set up social recovery. Okay, yeah, they had to start over. Okay, all right. And I could see like the whole story was kind of put before me because I was looking at this mutual connections list.
By the way, guys, besides, I keep forgetting his name, sorry. Besides Victor, do you mind if I connect with you?
Yeah, we should definitely connect. So we don't do it on this call because it's being recorded, but yes, we should get together and connect. Yeah, no problem.
Because, for example, in my aura, I see two of my best friends that I've known forever, and I reconvince them to download the BrightID and go through it. And I see Victor and what's the other guy that keeps doing the meetings?
Ashraf?
Yes. No. Ashraf was my first connection the first time before I lose the phone. He's a gold on the forums.
I think it should be Vladislav or Igor.
Igor and Shaheen?
Yes,
Yep.
Shahin.
Shaheen. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we should definitely make a connection. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you feel like that that we've seen you enough that you've joined our community. You're part of the community now. So yeah, I'm happy to make connection with you.
No, I'm happy to join the meetings every time I can, because I keep, the more I understand about it, the more I'm going to explain to my artist friends. Who I'm going to remind you, none of us is into it for the money.
Right.
I just find it cool. I can explain it like you, and mind you, you're a group of friends, and you're in this forever. So you all have all these decent connections.
That's true. We've done this for a long time. Yeah.
Me, I just lost my iPhone, last summer, so I had to start over. It's kind of a hassle, but thank you anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So once you get past a certain point, you should definitely set up social recovery. Someone who's new, it's funny because we get support requests all the time where someone's like, "Oh no, I lost my my phone, or I didn't set up social recovery. Is this game over for me? I can never use BrightID again." And we'll ask them like, "Well, how many connections did you have?" "Oh, 2." And it's like, no, just start over. Like you barely got, you barely got very far. Now, if you had connected to like 10 apps and had like 30 connections, and then it's kind of like annoying that you didn't set up social recovery and you lost everything. So definitely after a certain point, that's something you should do. But yeah.
Should we move on to
Yeah, go back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, so let's move over to so this is rating people, and that's the first step that an aura player would do is figure out who they should rate, and if we sent some energy to any of you, then you could do this test. Actually, even better, anyone can do this task at any time, setting it up. But when you don't have energy, it doesn't do anything. So it's like basically what you're doing when you put out this honesty and later put out energy, you're laying pipes, and then it's a separate step what's going to run through those pipes. So if you don't have any energy, you just laid down the pipes of trust, and nothing's flowing through them. They're empty, but they're there. They're waiting, so that the moment someone does give you energy, suddenly your opinions do have weight. So one great way that someone that's trying to convince people, hey, I want to become an aura player, please help me. They can set up what they would do if they were an aura player. It's just not accomplishing anything, but it's all set up. And then as soon as someone can look at that, review what they're doing, go, yeah, you're doing that is a nice way to set that up. I believe that you're doing this honestly and effectively. I'll energize you. And then the moment they do that, all of that pre-work that someone did is applicable. So I think that's really important. Well, let's move on. Yeah. Let's move on to energy itself. So the energy is, we're looking for the right word to call it, because we had been using currency, but it's not a currency at all. It's the ether, right? I mean, it's
a thing that gets sent around.
Energy is cool. I vote for
authority that gets shared. So, and it's important that you have it, but like you're only minding it for a moment because you can't keep it. You have to share it. You have to send it. So you are always, as long as you are sending energy to at least one person, you are sending 100% of your energy out. You can't keep any of it for yourself. But the fact that like it passed through you is what gives you authority. And it's constantly going in every direction all at once in a way that like the human mind does not do a good job understanding, but computer algorithms do a fine job understanding. But it's just sort of like bouncing back and forth in all directions. And like an interesting thing is, so this first energy team, right now there's one energy team, and sort of Adam and I are the captains of that energy team. And we send it out to other people. But the only reason that we're able to do that is because people send it back to us. If they didn't send it back to us, we wouldn't have any, because like if it came to us first and we said, hey, on the next hop, go here. But the only way we can actually have it is if people send it back to us. So everybody's always kind of working together. So here's my list. These are all the people. So if you give someone at least one honesty, you were able to give them energy. It's a little counterintuitive at first, but important in how it actually works. In that, so here's these. You can give someone right now 0, 1, 2, 5, 25, or 100 units of energy.
You can type in numbers in between.
You can type in
Griff,
numbers too. We just
Griff reminded me of that. You can just type in any old number.
But not only, yeah, I think it's hard on the mobile app, which is why I never noticed it, because
Yeah.
I learned on the mobile app.
Yeah.
Yeah, worth noting. Yeah, this works equally well on desktop and mobile. If you're out and about, works great on mobile. You have a little bit more functionality and ability to do things on desktop, but it works fine on mobile. This was designed to be a mobile first application because we think that's what most people will do. Especially like sort of the foot soldiers of the Aura wars, as opposed to like the generals. The generals are going to be back using their desktop and figuring out high level things, but the people on sort of closer to the edges can just use mobile. So the idea here is this is 100 units out of a total that I'm giving. So I happen to be giving 327 in total. So Adam's getting 30% of my energy. But if I increase Jonathan, suddenly my total goes up, and therefore Adam's percentage goes down. And it feels a little weird at the beginning, but it's essential because remember, you're always giving away 100%. So inherently, if you give someone else more energy, it has to come from somewhere, and it just universally comes appropriate. It comes from everyone the same. And same, if you take energy away from someone, if I put Adam down to 0, everybody else goes up because I have a lower denominator. So the number you're setting here is your numerator, and the total is the denominator. So yeah, that's how that works.
Let's look at the graph. Go back to someone, just any old person, and let's look at the graph. I don't think it's gonna reveal a whole bunch of bright IDs as long as we are a little bit careful. But I don't care if you reveal my bright
Yeah,
ID.
I'll start on yours because
Everybody knows that.
you and I have been.
It's like, who's that dot in the middle of the graph? I wonder. Yeah. But
Well,
this is like a simplified graph that just shows the Aura players and what they've been doing. And actually, it's out of date. It hasn't been updated in like a month. The change to update this with better information should roll out pretty soon, and then we'll have I can't wait to see what the new graph looks like, just based on what people have been doing in the last few days, because there's been so much new activity.
Yeah, and I did touch base with Siftal. He sent me a link to the test version.
Oh, nice.
So progress has definitely been made. It ain't right yet.
Oh, okay. So we still have to go back and iterate and fix some stuff.
But it is getting recent data, but it's not.
But it's still not doing what we want. It's not.
It's not doing what we want, but it is at least getting the data. Yeah. So this is Aura. This is the Aura graph as of like a week ago. And
I would say like a month ago.
Maybe it broke before I was aware. Anyway, yeah. So this is the Aura graph, and I can see right here. So Adam has rated back then. Hopefully he's done more now. At that point, he rated 9. He rated 9 people. 17 people had actually rated him. He's sending energy out to all of these blue lines. So actually, yeah. That line's actually going into Michael. Sorry, into Adam.
Yeah, these are probably people sending energy to me. I was a slacker a month ago or whenever that was done, but now I've sent out energy to.
So here we go. Here it is showing Adam. At that point, Adam was giving half of his energy, 50 units of energy to me, and rated me a 2, and I was giving 100 units of energy to him and rated him a 4. Adam has never thought much of my Aura playing skills. It's all right.
Oh, I've bumped it up. You're a 3 now. I'm still. I can't give you a 4 until I'm completely convinced that you don't have like some group on the side of people that you're keeping a secret from.
So here's the problem with that. So let's say I have connected to like all of the important people you could possibly think of, right? Yeah. And like I have a rock solid BrightID account.
Yep.
There is no way that you could know that I don't just go off to some other place and create a shit account. It's nowhere near as good. Nowhere near
Oh
as
yeah,
good.
right. It's nowhere near as good, and that's why I rate you a 3. That's kind of like my cutoff. Like if I know that this has to be your preferred account,
Well,
then it's a 3.
preferred account is different than
If I
key.
have enough evidence that I'm just sure that that there can't be another account, then that's a 4. And I've only given 3 people a 4. Because I know them well enough that I know that I just know that they don't have another account. I just know it. With you, it's possible. There's still like some little room somewhere where you could have like some other people that might be Aura players that I mean at this point probably not, but that you might be like, hey, come play Aura with me and start the Aura game. I'll give you some energy, and other people give you energy. And I don't know who the people are, and you use a second account with them. Like it's possible. I don't think like okay, so my emotional side or my intuitive side or whatever says no, that he would never do that. But I try to play based on like evidence. So that's just me.
Yeah, let's stop sharing so I can see more of your pretty faces. Yeah, and in addition to all the tools that are for your actual connections right now, one of the next things that we're going to be working on is a graph labeling tool that people can use. So right now you can only sort of state your opinions and take action on accounts you're connected to. But we expect some Aura players would like to have opinions on the broader graph where they're not actually connected. So imagine there's some part of the graph, I'm like, hey, over in this region, there's a lot of activity. I don't know any of those people. I'm not connected. I would like to know about that region. So imagine I could circle that region and say, hey, I really want to know this region. Like who can explain this to me? Or who can I connect to over there? Or even I will incentivize. I will pay $10 to connect to someone in this lassoed region. And imagine there was like a spot on the app you could go to and it's like, show up to a Zoom party and get paid just because like we're knitting the graph together, and to someone who's trying to make sure that their team has most accurately labeled the graph as far out as they can possibly go. Like no, they're gonna win a prize if they do that job the best. They need to connect to these people over in Vietnam. Well, okay, great. They can incentivize people in Vietnam to connect to them that would meet. Like imagine if you could look at a graph and be like, and ask the algorithm, all right, I'm not positive about that group of people, but if I knew this data point, I could be so much more confident. Like what data points could I confirm, become more or less comfortable with that would like dramatically change the opinion? What would happen if this user right here suddenly was marked as dishonest? Like what would be the ramifications of that? How important is that user? Another thing would be to label, hey, these 3 accounts right here, those are actually the same person, right? Victor caught them coming to different connection parties. He busted them. He knows right now in BrightID he can mark all those as suspicious, but he can't be like, this is the same person. Wouldn't it be cool if he could mark those? These are the same person, or these 20 accounts right here appear to be colluding with each other.
Right.
Like they're making this snowflake pattern. I'm going to circle this whole thing and say this is a group of colluding people, and other users can check that out. So like imagine now you're back to doing your honesty research, and you can go look and like check out the notes of other Aura players.
Right, those little labels that people put on the graph, and it's not like you're learning something that you don't already know. It's like yeah, I mean, you're learning what other people had to offer, but this is going to be someone probably, if you're investigating them, it's someone you know too. It's just nice to know what other people think about that same person.
Imagine all of us are playing on the same Aura team, and once a week we get together and we're all looking at the graph together and sitting around and be like, all right, here's what I think. I'm a little sketchy, and then Michael can be like, oh no, it's okay because I know this. Like this person over there, I actually do know them and they're doing a solid
Yeah.
job. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about that. And the example that I often come back to on the current graph. Hold on, let me pull that up again. Screen share this one, share it, and then the other one, this one. All right, so I like to talk about this region over here. This right here is such a problematic Sybil attack, except that it isn't, because the dude at the center of it is someone that I trust is doing a reasonable job and is not attacking the symbol. This over here, again, this is the crazy like Sybil attack, except it's not. I don't believe it's a Sybil attack because the person who's at the center of it,
Yep.
I believe is appropriately playing the Aura game. So in a formulaic way, I would have to expect that like a Sybil formula would be like, that's a bad actor because look at that pattern. Because
Yep.
normally if you were pattern matching, that is a bad actor. Except if you know what's going on, then it's fine. I give the example also, right? So it's like you walk into an African village, no one's ever heard of BrightID, you make a bunch of connections, they super densely interconnect. It's this amazing snowflake that's got a total edge. It's got one bridge back to the main graph. But if you believe the person in the story that they walked into the village and did this, then it's totally fine. And over time, I expect, so right now, this island here is totally disconnected, but this is from weeks ago. I bet that now when we update that, a bunch of these dots here will have been pulled towards the center because other users will have done it. And that means, okay, well, good, we were right, but we can be like much more predictive.
Yes.
On little bits of data, because we only needed that one person to do that job. And as long as they did a good job, it should get pulled in and proved out over time.
Yeah, we don't have to wait. We can predict what the algorithm's going to do. We don't have to wait for the algorithm, which is a huge improvement. It just lets things move a lot faster. And there are definite repercussions to messing it up. Like if you gain everybody's trust and then you go and you create a region and say, oh no, that's my home village. I went to Mexico and it's a rural village and I signed everybody up and that's who they are. And then that doesn't pan out in the future. You've basically ruined your ability to play the Aura game. So you can still be BrightID verified. Those people can still be BrightID verified, but you cannot. You're not going to. No one's going to trust you and give you energy in the game anymore because you Sybil attacked. Yeah.
Yeah, Victor.
Now that you talk about the graph and how the graph can move depending on your connections and the kind of stuff. So the graph is a tool, right? That you can see, that you can read, that you can try to decipher the graph. But how much the graph change depending of your Aura actions? I mean, what if I put someone in -4 or what if I put someone in good vibes? How much that changed the graph?
Yeah, I mean, that's for you to look at and see how much it affects. It's obviously based on how much energy that is being flowed to you. But yeah, I mean, that's something that you just try out and see what effect you have on other people. There's a bit of a lag time between your actions. They're not immediate. The verifications don't update immediately, but make some changes. Wait 20 minutes, or I guess in some cases it can be up to an hour, and come back and see what changed with those people. And so see what kind of effect it has. Okay,
because I was thinking that usually the people want to try new things. And it's obvious that we are the ones on the team that got more contact with the communities, doing this meeting daily and that kind of stuff, and talking with them in the Discord channels. So if Aura get just a little bit more popularity, they're going to come to us to ask us questions, to say, if this happened, can you show me, what can I do, how do I start playing?
Right.
And we already get the connection, so we are going to start making things with their account. So let's say that these people is normal people, the people that came to the verification meeting. So these people give me good vibes. If
Yep.
I start making good vibes with all these people, I think that shouldn't be. Yeah, that I cannot be that. But in the hypothetical case that I start doing that with everyone that just came to me, this is
Mhm.
going to artificially make change the things.
Well, good vibes is a signal that doesn't give out a verification. Good vibes is kind of a labeling signal, like Philip was talking about. It just
Yeah.
says other people, if you come across this person, just know that this other person gave this Aura player, this other Aura player had a good opinion of this person. Didn't know enough, didn't have enough evidence, didn't know the person well enough or have enough evidence to give them a 1, which could actually give them a verification, but had a good impression, didn't think they were civil attacking.
Yeah, the thing is that I don't want, because we got thousands of connections, so I don't want to get in that point
Nor
that no one
nor should
wants to
should
share.
right. It is not your job to give,
Yeah,
certainly to give honesty to everybody.
right.
Not
Your job,
Yeah,
yeah,
You're-
your
you're
job
doing it
is
well.
to give it to the people that you know. That's
yeah,
your job.
exactly. So I don't want to be like let off of the game because I need to start doing things with the people. So I only think so the best approach is just to explain what they have to do. That's all.
Right.
Not make interactions with them.
Right. Although what I do see happening, and I've already seen it happening, is Aura players who are, a lot of them are there's different roles of Aura players, like Philip was talking about. There's generals and there's like frontline soldiers, but I've noticed that a lot of Aura players tend to be super connectors, and what I mean by that is they have strong connections in multiple communities. So they'll know a lot of people in this community and this community and this community and this community, and so they act as kind of like a hub to all these different places, which is a great quality to have as an Aura player. And so what that means is that you will meet other Aura players in the process of being an Aura player. Is you'll just get to know other Aura players, and you'll start to like learn who they are, learn things about them, learn how they operate. And that's just part of playing the Aura game. And so that is something that will be new that maybe you haven't done before, is that it'll be like, oh, I'm getting to know this person. I'm getting, I'm getting to know John because he's an active Aura player. He's a very active Aura player, and we like overlap sometimes where we're working in the graph. And so I know who he is. I've learned some things about him. We've chatted and we've gotten to know each other. So that's something that I think will naturally happen. And that's good. I think that's good for everyone.
The other thing that I have doubts about is about what Foxy said before, that usually when you start getting connections, you connect with the stars, right?
Yeah.
So if people start just mending out about, using the aura, and the only thing, the few people that they will get is the stars, the people that get the verification. And that is something that happens right now when we make connection with the people. We had to explain to them that please don't use the green connection because you don't know me. So use the yellow one. That's something that we have to say.
Yep.
Because the people think that the green connection is the good one, so I should use them because you work in this project. So
I
you
got
shouldn't
it.
be able to do that.
That makes sense.
So if the people start messing out with the aura and start giving us energy randomly, this is
right.
bad,
So
this is good.
if no one's giving them energy, so you should never give energy to someone that you don't think knows how to use it. Right. So I'm saying you, Victor, I've given you energy.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that if I give you energy, you need to use it right. You using it right would not be giving it to those random people that don't know how to use it. So them giving it. So if you come in as a clueless user who doesn't have any energy, you can set all the parameters you want. You don't do anything.
Okay.
It only impacts the graph and the numbers if someone has energized you. And you're always responsible for people downstream of you. So don't give it to people that don't know what they're doing, or only give them a tiny bit watch how they do, and then explain to them, okay, here's, dude, you're giving for honesty. You know, one of our stars recently mentioned the Telegram. Oh, I'm giving fours to everyone. It's like, no. That's not the answer. Like, it's like, if you wanted to give fours to like the other stars that you know well, fine. But
I was thinking more of the attackers, the people that tend to use the things that they see if they can exploit or
we
something
love
the
attackers.
system.
Right,
Yeah, but a lot of attackers start giving me energy because I am the star and I am the only in the team that get connected to them. That is going to affect me in the future because
no. So I mean, the fact that you have incoming energy from them,
yeah,
I don't. They don't have. So remember, all they're doing is they're making a pipe to you, but there's nothing flowing through it. It's an empty pipe.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
they don't have any energy. So
Okay.
it's not a problem. Now, in the future, when we have multiple energy teams, let's say they're using a bad, you know, they're using purple energy, and like, it's purple energy is rife through the Sibyls. The Sibyls got an energy team and they're using it for nefarious purposes, and you're gonna, like, they give some of it to you.
That's
Now,
the situation I was thinking
in the
about.
future, we imagine we're gonna limit the number of different energy teams that you can be on. So like, you can be on 5 teams, you can receive 5 flavors of energy. People can send you every kind of flavor there is, but like, only 5 of them stick. And you would not choose purple energy as one of the ones that you're willing to use, because you only get to use 5, and you know that purple energy is shit. So like, you don't want anything to do with that. You're certainly not going to send it on to anyone else. Like, you only accept the ones that you're going to send, and you have a limit to that number.
Yeah, to recap, I want to say is being more exposed is it would be more difficult to play the game, right?
I don't
No,
think
no,
really what you do. I don't really care what other people do to you.
Okay.
I care what you do. The only time I really care about what other people are doing is when I'm evaluating how I want to rate you. But a bad actor, like, is a bad. So someone that I believe is a bad actor is sending you energy. As long as you're not sending energy to them, as long as you've marked them as a bad actor,
Yeah, I got it.
there's no problem at all that they're.
Yeah, it's like the thing when the attackers start reporting you just because
Doesn't
you
matter.
get it.
They don't have any authority.
Exactly.
Okay,
You
cool.
said something interesting, Victor. You talked about how like people were giving you already known because you're kind of like famous in the BrightID world. Like, oh, it's one of the BrightID stars. Okay, yeah, I know, and they probably feel like they know you because they see you in this position of authority, and so or like you're kind of like a celebrity, so they feel like they know you, but you definitely don't know them. So there's something interesting about that. There's a tool that I really want to see in the Aura toolbox called known identifiers. And so let's say someone has been following you on Twitter. You don't know who they are, but they know who you are. And they know that this is your Twitter account. When they meet you, they know that they're really meeting the real you. But again, you don't know who they are. So they could potentially say, using the known identifiers tool in Aura, let's say they're an Aura player. Let's say I'm an Aura player, and let's say I meet a well-known person, someone I've heard about, but they don't know who I am. I can say like, okay, I know that this is their Twitter account, and maybe some other publicly known things about them. And then what I can do is other people who believe that they have connected to that person can do the same thing. Say like, oh yeah, I connected to, I don't know, some minor celebrity or whatever, some Twitch streamer or something. And they'll say the same thing. They'll say, yeah, I connected to that person too, but we do it in an anonymous way that compares BrightIDs of the people
Not the same dots.
think we're comparing. So like and if it's the same, then that's good. That's a good signal. That's a really good signal. If for some reason, like one person connected to someone on BrightID that they think is connected to this Twitter account, and it's a different BrightID than the one you connected to, then something fishy is happening. Could be that that person is Sybil attacking. It could be that that person has an impersonator, like in real life impersonator or something that's going around trying to impersonate them. But in either case, that would come back as a red flag to the person that's trying to get that person verified. And they'd be like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I didn't really meet that person, or maybe they're Sybil attacking. But if everything checks out and it is the same person, then you get that that positive signal saying like, yeah. And so that tool allows me to take people that I don't have to have as many mutual connections. If they have like a public face about them. So that would, for instance, allow me to easily bump up some of the people that I've given 3s to 4, because like I know their Twitter account. In some cases, I may even know like their email address or some other thing about them. And if I can verify that they haven't created a second account that is also linking to that other people are also associating with that, then to me, that's like, that kills it dead. Like that says like there can't be another Sybil attack. Like they can't have a Sybil account, because otherwise it would have shown up as a mismatch there. So once we have that tool, I think I will be able to bump up
But
rating.
it should be a level like the passport of Gitcoin, that you have to get these verifications in each thing.
Well, so the nice thing about it is you don't have to have like cryptographic proof. It just has to be some sort of like semi-public knowledge about that person.
Okay.
Like Twitter account is a great example. Like if someone has a public face to them, and everybody knows that this is their Twitter account, this is a way of saying like, this is the like, I believe that this BrightID is the official BrightID of, I don't know, pick your celebrity. Let's say Elon Musk. Okay, so this is the official, I believe that I have connected to the real Elon Musk. And then someone else is like, well, I think I did too. And then in a privacy preserving way, you say, well, is the BrightID I'm talking about the same BrightID that you're talking about? Yes. Okay, good. We both actually connected to Elon Musk. Great. So that boosts our confidence that there's only one Elon Musk. If someone else comes in and is like, wait a minute, you know, I connected to Elon Musk, but it was a different BrightID, then without revealing like which BrightIDs we're discussing, we know there's a mismatch. And we say, wait a minute, this is sketchy. Like either you connected to someone who's not really Elon Musk, or yeah, there's some problem here, or there's 2 Elon Musks in the system, or something.
Either Elon is being a Sybil attack,
Yeah.
or other people are wrong or lying about the one they did actually being the Elon Musk Twitter account.
Exactly.
But that's what my question about that, because it should be the only thing getting the history here is the Twitter handle, right? The Twitter.
Yep.
So one of these BrightIDs should do something with Twitter, the real Twitter handle of Elon Musk. So the only way that there is 2 is that the owner of that Twitter handle do something with these 2 different BrightID accounts.
Right. I see what you're saying. Like you could, like if you're having an issue, if people are, if you want to prove like, hey, I really only have one BrightID, then yeah, you could do something. You as the owner of that Twitter account could do something that proves like, okay, like this is my one and only real BrightID. Don't trust
Without actually outing that it's which BrightID is yours. Just that like you could post some proof that proves to the system which one it is without actually publicly.
Right. So that's, I mean, I think that's a great idea. Like you could say something like, okay, if I don't know, maybe when, yeah, without revealing what BrightID it is. So let's say that when you're making a connection with people, you send some data that never gets stored on a server somewhere, but you send some like little piece of data, because right now, like, you know how we have profiles, where you can send the profile back and forth. It just goes directly peer to peer.
No. I'm sorry. No going that deeper. I mean, in a superficial level, the system is going to tell you, hey, someone with this handle of the Twitter, the owner of this Twitter, but you don't know what Twitter is making two BrightID accounts. I mean, if you have two BrightIDs and you connect your Twitter, your same Twitter with these two different accounts, the system is going to identify that someone is using a Twitter that was already used, right? Something like that. Because when you say that you are like syncing this Twitter with this BrightID, you have to do like a verification, right? Inside, or imagine if everyone gets to know my Twitter, 100 people using my Twitter handle on BrightID. So there is going to be this problem. I remember that when you want to use an application in Twitter or Facebook or something like that, you need to authorize the application from inside your account. You need to be the owner of your account, so you can give the authorization to use that application. It should be something like that, because if you don't have the ownership of that Twitter, you cannot link up with your BrightID in any way,
Right,
because
but
anyone can use it.
but with the known identifiers tool in Aura, it's different, because what I'm saying is I connected to someone, and that person that I connected to, I know this is their Twitter handle. Like, I make a connection to Philip, I know what his Twitter handle is. I put that in the known identifiers tool in Aura. I'm like, I know this is his Twitter handle. I may know a few other things.
Oh yeah, you put it.
Someone
Oh,
else puts those in. They
not
say,
the
I also
owner of the
connected to
Twitter.
Philip. I also connected to Philip, and I'm going to also put those in, without revealing what those are and without revealing what BrightID that we're attaching those to. We can compare notes, and I can say, okay, no one else has said that they've connected to someone with those socials except the same Philip that I've connected to. That is a very strong signal to me that he has not created a Sybil account, because if he had, another person would be like, because everybody knows his Twitter handle. So another person would be like, yeah, I connected to Philip, but they connected to the second Philip, like his Sybil account that he created. And so
I
then
get
this
it. I
Sybil
get it.
shows up, and it's like, there's two of them. And then
I
I'm like,
was getting it totally wrong. I was getting in totally bad words. Yeah, I think that you need to prove your things, but no.
but where it comes, where it does help though, is let's say that someone is impersonating Philip, and or someone is griefing Philip and being like, yeah, I'm gonna pretend I'm Philip, or I'm gonna make connections to people and say that I'm connecting to Philip when I'm not, just to mess with him. So it's not really gaining anything for them other than to grief Philip. So what he could do to remedy that is he could be like send, when he connects to people, he could send some sort of proof saying like this is my real Twitter, and I'm proving it, and then send that out to people, and that could help with the griefing attacks. So that is interesting, but that does require him to do something. That does require him to share his Twitter account with people that he's
I
connected
get
to.
it. But if I already
Whereas the
know
other one
that
doesn't even require
information,
him to do that. He doesn't even have to share his Twitter account. It's just the fact that I know it allows me to verify him through it.
I want to
He
point out a
doesn't
really important
post anything
thing
on
about-
Twitter. He doesn't have to tell me his Twitter account. I just do it.
An important thing about how this all works is you don't have to show your work. That the ratings, the ratings, the energy flows, you get to decide how and why you want to make those decisions in any way that you can. So we're talking about tools that may exist in the future to make you make better decisions, right? That more analysis that you can do. But when I rated my mom, I didn't need any information that I did not already have readily at my fingertips to make that rating. And I gave her a 4, and I am rock solidly confident that I'm right, and I don't need any cryptographic proof to tell me that. So and then you guys respect my methods. You don't need to know how I did it, but you just like in totality, when he rates people 4s, he's right. And the fact that when Adam and I talk about this, it's kind of laughable how different we think about it, but it doesn't matter how we came up with our answer. It's just they are our answers, and we respect each other's answers without having to agree on the process. I was always one of those kids in school that hated showing my work in math. I just got the right answer. Like that's how my brain worked. It skipped steps, and I was really good at math. And I would get so annoyed when a teacher would take off points for me not showing my work when I got the answer right. They're like, when then they'd be like, well, you get partial credit if you show. I'm like, I don't want to. I get the answer right. Obviously, I know how to do it. My previous job was I helped large scale affordable housing, multifamily properties to get huge mortgages. These were millions of dollars, and we got them all from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And the reality is the banker we were working with had to produce a 120-page report to go into Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to explain exactly how everything was going to work and dot all the I's and cross all the T's. The reality is I worked for cowboy developers that did this on a 2-page spreadsheet. We did not have 120 pages of bullshit to back it up. That said, I believe that like our 2-pager was fine because we've done this hundreds of times and are really good at it. And I don't need to fluff out the justification when the reality is I've got the cred that I do know how to do it. I've got the track record of having done it in the past. And that's what's important, not 120 pages. So that report that was going into the lenders, remember, that's all being derived from like a few pages. So like it was fluffed up, but it doesn't actually make it any better because really we're getting the loan because we've done this lots of times and we know what we're doing. And Aura can work the same way. So there's all these tools and some people will use them. There's going to be some people that do Aura in the nerdiest ways possible. They're going to make Atom, like, you know, from a data standpoint, look like a noob. And that's great. I want those people to play. And there's other people that are just going to play by the seat of their pants emotionally and have no data involved in their process. They just like play on their you know, with their heart on their sleeve. But that's okay. We'll find out which are better methods.
Right.
You know,
I think it'll be a mix. I think it'll be a mix of both. I think the evidence-based methods will be like the cornerstone, but I think that they will rely on just honest people who go by their gut feelings as well to like detect problems or to help out on the fringes where there's not a lot of data in the beginning. It's like if you have someone who has an awesome track record and has been signing people up on the fringes of the graph, it's like, okay, you might not have the evidence. Your evidence is their past performance. And you know that like the evidence will sustain them in the future. Like when the evidence does appear later, it's going to show that they were right because they've been right so many times in the past.
Right. Super Fizz made 150 connections in one night. That's really bad behavior, except that I don't believe he was being bad. And therefore, I'm happy to continue sending him energy because I think that action is good despite the evidence. The evidence would tell me he's doing something inappropriate. Like our system would throttle if you make more than 18 ratings in 3 days, it throttles your impact. So like he would have been throttled like crazy for taking that action. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, at this point, he did that a month ago. That throttle has completely worn off. All of the activity he did is getting full marks, and that was the appropriate thing to do. Yep. Exactly. But none of those specifics really mattered. It's just like, did it work? Did it work out? Did it work out in the end? Was he right? Was he being a good actor? But we should probably get close to wrapping this up here.
Let's wrap it up. Thank you for the demo.
Can I ask just one question really quickly, Philip, about you were explaining how energy goes back and forth. I think I've done something stupid. Those 2 friends of mine that I managed to convince them to re-download. While playing with Aura, I gave them a straight 5, the maximum. I don't remember it's 4 or 5. The honest one. 4. So 4. But you were explaining that this means nothing if they don't give some kind of energy back to me.
So two energy. So first off is the rating, and since your friends are not going to be Aura players, you should just rate them. you're very confident you can rate them a 4, that's fine, but you shouldn't send them any energy unless they're going to play the game too. Energy is only for
I think you
players.
did the right thing. You rated them, that's fine. Yeah, you can rate them, and that's perfectly fine.
Cool. Okay.
So I think you did the right thing.
Yeah. If you're looking to become an Aura player, you can rate anyone you want to rate that you're connected to on BrightID. Ideally, you would rate every person that you felt like you had enough information to do that, but should only give energy to other people that are actively going to play the game as well.
Okay.
And as long as you make that distinction, no problem at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So let's wrap this.
Yep.
Next week, I think we're likely to have some guests come from Doing Good to come talk about their NFT platform, helping to fund charitable causes and public goods. So we'll have that. If any of you are BrightID stars and you have not signed up in the Bright channel, you should do that. That's closing today. That allows us. Yeah, and otherwise, let's wrap this up.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Ciao from Athens.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
All right. Oh, I'm the host now.